What's up, everybody? Doc 1985. There's levels to this. Okay, got a quick video for you guys tonight. It looks like the PS5 Pro is more and more and more becoming a reality of something that's actually going to be a thing, I guess. And I'm seeing a lot of discussions as to whether or not a PS5 Pro is necessary, whether or not PS5 Pro is worth it, how much will a PS5 Pro cost, all of the above. And then the last and final piece is, should you get a PC versus a PS5 Pro? So I'm going to try to answer all those questions from my perspective, obviously, just my opinion, and let you hear things from the mind of someone who cares about performance and as such moved over to PC. So here's the deal. When it comes to PlayStation, I got to give credit where credit is due. Sony this generation, when it comes to their first party games, has delivered on the performance promise. It has delivered on the visual promise as well. Most of their games look great and their games run great, and you have options for performance. You have options for 60, you have options for 120, and even in games that don't even need it. I keep mentioning God of War Ragnarok has no business needing a 120 hertz mode or frames mode, but yet Sony has given their players an option, and that's on the base PS5. So we know that PlayStation, at least when it comes to their first party games, are willing to put the time and effort to make sure that their hardware is using everything it can to run these games the best way possible, right? Very seldom, I can't think of one game Sony has dropped where the PlayStation fan base has had to wait for a patch to come to give it the performance that it needs. I can't think of one. If there is one, please let me know. Okay. So again, credit where credit is due. When it comes to first party games, Sony is doing what they need to do. When it comes to third party games, most developers are utilizing the PS5 pretty well in terms of performance as well. And in some metrics, it's beating the Xbox consoles here and there. Not by a lot, but here and there it is beating it. And then obviously we got to address the elephant in the room. There's games that aren't even being dropped on the Xbox or are being completely delayed on the Xbox, and on PlayStation they're dropping. I can mention Baldur's Gate 3. I can mention Black Myth Wukong, whether or not it's a time exclusive or not, if you believe that. I could also mention that Capcom game, fighting game. So the reality is that when it comes to the PS5 hardware, if you're a PlayStation fan, that hardware is being utilized to the best of its potential. The part where you have to question it is, are third party developers going to use the console to its full potential? Because there are still games on a PlayStation 5 that run at 30 frames. Games like Gotham Knights. I can't think of any other ones, but if there's a game that's going to run on 30, it's typically not a PlayStation game. But then this is where the elephant in the room comes in if Sony does drop this PS5, okay? A PS5 Pro. I have no doubt that PlayStation and Sony are going to use the PS5 Pro to its full potential for their first party games. But that's where the problem lies. What are the first party games that Sony's releasing? That's really what you got to look at. What are you getting this Pro for? Because if you're getting the Pro so that third party games run better, I don't know if that'll be worth it at that end. Now, if you're banking that Sony's still going to have a full lineup of first party games, and sure, by all means, then the PS5 Pro could definitely make a lot of sense. If you're just an enthusiast and you just like consoles, then sure, get the PS5 Pro. It's gonna be like the people that bought the PS4 Pro, but really, you really didn't need one. The PS4 Pro of a regular PS4 was perfectly fine. The regular PS5 is gonna be perfectly fine, and Sony is still gonna utilize that PS5 and it's still gonna use it to its potential, right? But the PS5 Pro, if there's no real first party games that are going to be coming out that are just focused by Sony, then I really don't know. And that is the advantage that Sony has right now is you have to believe people, or you have to believe things or entity based off what they do, not what they tell you. Sony, when Spider-Man 2 dropped, was giving people ray tracing, like real ray tracing. Why? Ain't no need for that. They're just flexing at that point, right? 120 hertz mode on Spider-Man Miles Morales as well, right? And on Spider-Man 2, like they were really they were really doing it. Ratchet and Clank too, a beautiful looking game. So PlayStation has been doing it. Now the best looking game this generation, and it's not even an argument, is Hellblade 2. So the best looking game this generation is still belongs to Xbox, whether you like it or not. It is what it is. The game of the generation belongs to Xbox when it comes to Starfield. That's undeniable. Okay. But if you're talking about performance and hardware being utilized, I think plenty Xbox Series X owners will tell you that the Xbox Series X is not being utilized to its full potential, and we understand why, right? The Series S does exist, and it just is what it is, right? Not only that, but plenty of games are still being developed for last generation, so it is what it is. These consoles aren't being used to the full potential. But PlayStation, when it comes to first party games, I would argue that even though their games can run on the PS4, they're compensating it by saying, you know what, this game can run on the PS4, but if it's running on the PS5, he's 120 hertz mode just because. So you bought that big, powerful TV, not even PC. Some of you guys went out there this generation and got yourself a TV with 120 hertz with VRR, and your console of choice is telling you they're going to drop games at 30 frames. You take that however you want, right? But PlayStation is doing what they need to do as far as the performance goes. The problem is, what other games do they have coming out? They don't. I can't think of anything that PlayStation has coming out in the pipeline. And off the top of my head, I can think of 3 games that are coming to Xbox. The most exciting games coming to the PlayStation are Xbox games. That's incredible. Think about it. The most exciting games coming to PlayStation are Xbox games. Black Ops, that's going to be a monster. Black Ops 6 is going to be a monster. I promise you. Mark my words. Indiana Jones is probably going to do well on PlayStation as well. And I think they should drop another big game on PlayStation this holiday season. I think they should drop. Can you imagine a PlayStation Starfield bundle? I think they should. But regardless, or a PlayStation 5 Pro Starfield bundle at 120 frames with ray tracing, I would throw up. Dog 1985. Oh my. Oh my. What if the PS5 Pro runs games better, Xbox games better than Xbox? Oh my. Oh my God. There's levels to this. All right, my next video I'm going to talk about PS5 against PC, because I can't do it on this. What if it's to run Xbox games better? We out. Peace.